Level 1 alert status. The police have sealed off key areas for your safety. Please return home immediately. Secure your doors and do not open the door to strangers. Stay away from anyone behaving abnormally. Sure enough, the city's on alert. I couldn't help but take a deep breath. This level of control is usually only in wars or nuclear leakage drills. There is no buffer. Without explanation, everything came too fast. The despair reveals a sense of out of control. I was about to forward this message in the group. The property manager Chunwei spoke. Dear residents, I am Chunwei, the property manager of Shugencheng. The situation is very urgent. To ensure everyone's safety, the property management has urgently activated. We are using explosion-proof boards to seal off the east, west, and south entrances, and only the north gate is left as the only emergency passage. And security personnel are on duty with weapons. Please go home immediately. Lock the doors and windows, and are strictly prohibited any suspicious person trying to force their way in. We will take direct coercive measures immediately. Wang Xiaoman sent a message that my cousin just contacted me. The situation is worse than we thought. The hospital has locked down the entire inpatient building and set the biological contamination zone. The army has entered the hospital, cut off all external communications. The group was in uproar. I noticed a new user who joined the group, 011602, the expectant father I met in the elevator last night. Dear neighbors, the situation may be more serious than official said. He wrote that I work in the municipal public security. I received an internal notice. Police officers, in dealing with the injury incident. Symptoms include high fever, extreme irritability. Most importantly, they will bite actively. Once the message came out, the group exploded with messages. I replied quickly, if it's true, we should be prepared for this. I suggest everyone stay at home and reduce contact. If you must go out, wear a breathing mask and long sleeves, and don't get close to anyone behaving abnormally. Anja Chun quickly followed up. The property is organizing prevention, and the public areas will be disinfected today. If any owner sees any abnormality, please report it. I put down my phone. I looked out the window. I heard the siren of an ambulance nearby, more frequently than usual. From my perspective, I can see the north gate. The security guards have started to check everyone. Some residents are arguing and seem very emotional. Boom, boom, boom. A sudden knock on the door interrupted my thoughts. Through the peephole, I saw Wang Xiaomi's anxious face. After I opened the door, he rushed in almost, holding her phone tightly, with a pale face. Something happened, Li Wei. Her voice was trembling. My cousin. She was attacked during a video call just now. My heart sank. What happened? We were on video call. She was on night shift in hospital. Suddenly a patient rushed out from behind her. Wang Xiaoman's voice choked. The patient bit her on the shoulder. Then the screen went black. I called her again. Her phone was turned off. I asked her to sit down. I poured her a glass of water. Is there any other way to contact the hospital? She shook her head. I called the emergency number, but no one answered and I was considering calling the police. Don't worry. I thought about it. Calling the police may not help. The police force should have been fully mobilized. Which area does your cousin work in the hospital? The ICU is next to the infectious disease. Wang Xiaomi held the water glass with white knuckles, thinking I was scared. The symptoms of the patients she described were too strange. High fever and delirious and extremely violent and attack everyone who comes near. The most terrifying thing is people bitten will soon have the same symptoms. My brain was racing. If this virus is transmitted through bites, and the transformation is so fast, the chain of group infections will grow exponentially. I unconsciously used a term from programmers. If not controlled well, the growth curve will become steep in a short time. Wang Xiaoman looked at me. You mean it will get out of hand? I didn't answer directly, but asked if your cousin mentioned the incubation period. How long does it take from being bitten to symptoms? He said quickly, 2 to 3 hours. That's why the situation in the hospital is so they don't have time to isolate. The incubation period is 2-3 hours. There is almost no buffer time for prevention. I suddenly had an ominous premonition. When was your cousin bitten by the snake? Wang Xiaomi checked her phone. About 2 hours ago. We looked at each other and we both realized the seriousness. I immediately picked up my phone and sent a message to the mutual aid group. Emergency was not an infectious disease. It's a biological mutation. The main transmission route is blood and water, especially bites. The transformation is fast. Within 2 to 3 hours, everyone should lock the door immediately and prepare self-defense weapons. Once you find someone around you with dilated pupils, losing their minds or biting tendencies, please stay away and lock them in a confined space. Don't hesitate. That is no longer your family member. Just after sending this message, the group exploded with various doubts. Messages of panic and verification came in. I don't have time to reply. I added another message that it's urgent. This is not a rumor. I have a reliable source. If my prediction is true today, there may be a large-scale infection around the hospital. Please be prepared, especially in areas near the hospital, and be vigilant. The property manager Chunwei quickly what Li Wei said. We have also received similar reports. The property is strengthening the control. All entrances and exits will be strictly managed. Please understand and cooperate with the endorsement of the property. There were fewer doubts in the group. Instead, there was more panic and help seeking. My child has a fever. Is he infected with COVID? Who knows where there are pharmacies open? Should we organize people to guard downstairs to prevent infected people? Facing these questions, I didn't know how to answer them. At this moment, Wang Xiaoman stood up. I have to go home. My mother-in-law is waiting for me. Wait, I called her. Since your cousin is a medical worker, has she mentioned any prevention or countermeasures? Wang Xiaoman thought for a moment. She said infection is spread through body fluids, mainly saliva and blood. So being bitten is the most dangerous. Infected people seem to be particularly sensitive to sound and are attracted by loud noises. This information is crucial for us. I nodded. Thank you for telling me this. If there is any new situation, please inform me at once. After sending Wang Xiao, I immediately shared this key information in the group and advised everyone to reduce noise to avoid attracting unnecessary. Less than 10 minutes, the community broadcast suddenly an urgent notice to all residents to return home immediately and close doors and a safety incident occurred near the north gate. The property and the police are dealing with it. Repeat, all residents, please return home immediately. I suddenly stood up and rushed to the window. From my perspective, I could see there was chaos at the north gate. Several police cars and ambulances were parked. The sirens were Cijibihu. A group of people were running away. Next to the guard booth, several people in uniforms were fighting with something, even from such a distance. I could also feel that unusual atmosphere. It wasn't an ordinary riot or argument, but a more primitive, and bloody scene. My phone vibrated again. It's a message from Liang. Something happened. A man from the hospital rushed into the community and bit to security guards. The police have arrived, but the situation is my heart started to race and my palms began to sweat. Things are developing at a terrifying speed. It's exactly as I predicted before. If the hospital is out, the infection chain will spread exponentially. The siren outside the window suddenly stopped and was replaced by a crisp gunshot. Then came the second and third shots. I couldn't help taking a step back. In China, police shooting is a rare event. The situation must be more serious than we thought. The phone vibrated again. It's an emergency notice from Manager Chan. A serious security incident occurred at Northgate. An alleged infected person attacked the guard and has been controlled. Unfortunately, 2 security guards were hurt and sent to hospital. The Northgate is closed. All entries and exits are changed and strengthened checks. All residents are advised not to go out. Stay vigilant. I immediately replied to Chun. According to what I know, the bitten person will likely transform in a short time. It is recommended to all those who have been in contact with the infected, including security guards and residents who assist. Manager Chun replied quickly, has reported to the superior and wait for professionals to handle. The community has launched an emergency plan and increased patrols and report any abnormality. The atmosphere in the group is getting tense. Some people suggested forming a team, while others suggested stocking up on more supplies. Some suggested closing the entrances of each building to prevent infection. Faced with these chaotic information and such, I couldn't help thinking what role I should play in this situation. As an ordinary programmer, I don't have medical knowledge or experience in emergency management, but I have logical thinking and the ability to analyze perhaps this is exactly what the current situation needs. I sent a message in the group to all neighbors, although the situation is urgent. But please stay calm. I suggest we first take care of ourselves and then consider how to help each other. Specifically, first each family counts its supplies and assess how long they can last. Second, those with special needs, such as chronic disease, patient, pregnant women, please report in the group for unified coordination. Third, those with backgrounds in materials management, please stand up to form a special team. After this message was sent, the group was quiet for a while and then gradually some people responded. First, an old man who claimed to be a retired doctor offered to provide medical consultation. Then several young people who said they could assist in delivery. Someone suggested organizing floor liaisons to be responsible for information delivery. Just as the discussion was gradually ordered, a rapid knock on the door interrupted my train of thought again. This time it was my neighbor in room 170, a middle-aged man about 50 years old. We hardly ever communicate. He was out of breath and sweating profusely. Mr. Lee, right? I'm He Gang. I saw you have your own opinion in the group, so I came to discuss with you. My wife just went downstairs to throw garbage. She saw a person squatting in the corner of the elevator and acted strangely and shaking all the time and making strange noises in his mouth. I was shocked. Where is the person now? Still in the elevator. My wife quickly ran home. I wanted to call the police, but the police are probably too busy now. Didn't the group say the property? But I called the property. It was busy. I quickly picked up my phone and sent a message to the property manager. I told He Gang to go home and lock the door first. Don't come out. I'll contact the property. He Gang hesitated much. Should we go and see together with several men? What if it's just an ordinary person sick? I shook my head. It was too dangerous. If it's really an infected, approaching will increase risk. The best way is to wait for professionals. After sending He Gang away, I immediately informed the group and reminded the residents on the 17th floor not to use the elevator for now. Locked the doors and window. While I was waiting for the property's reply, a scream suddenly came from the hallway, followed by a dull thud of a heavy object and a series of hurried footsteps. My heart almost stopped beating. My intuition told me danger had come. I quickly locked the door at home. I stuck to the door and listened to the noises. There was chaos in the hallway. Someone was shouting and someone was running. There was also a low growl that almost didn't sound like a human. My phone vibrated. It's a message from He Gang. Call the police. That man attacked my wife. I opened the door to check. The man suddenly rushed over to bite him. I blocked it with a mop. I pulled him back to the house. Almost at the same time, I heard a knock on my door and then a second one. And then a second one with more force. Then a creepy scratching sound came from outside, accompanied by heavy panting. I held my breath. My brain was racing. The infected person was outside my door and maybe trying. Broke in. A regular security door should hold for a while. But I can't just sit and wait. Looking around, I quickly pushed the shoe cabinet in the hallway, then grabbed the largest kitchen knife. I quietly approached the door. The banging and scratching outside lasted about 2 minutes, and then suddenly stopped. I held my breath. I heard the voices of other residents in the hallway, as if someone came out to check the situation. Oh my God, who is this? It seems to be Zhao Liu from room 93. A girl exclaimed. Don't get close to him. Go back quickly, a boy warned. Then there was a chaos of footsteps and screams. It seems that the infected person has changed his target. I quickly picked up my phone and called the property manager. The phone rang for a long time before being answered. A tired voice of Manager Chun came from the other side. What's the matter, Mr. Lee? We are very busy now. There's an infected on the 17th floor. I directly explained the situation. Maybe it's the resident of 903 and is now attacking other residents. There was silence on the other end. We know it. Someone has reported. Security personnel are coming. Please stay at home and don't go out. Do you have protective equipment? This infected person is very dangerous and it's hard for ordinary people. We have explosion-proof shields and Manager Chun's voice sounded unsure. Professionals have been sent from the city, but it may take time. After hanging up, I immediately sent a message to He Gang to confirm safety and then informed everyone in the group and warned everyone to lock doors and not to go out. The next half an hour was the longest time I had ever experienced. There were shouts and impacts in the hallway, and then it was eerily quiet again. I sat behind the door, holding a kitchen, ready to deal with possible intrusions. Finally, a neat sound of footsteps came from the stairwell. Through the peephole, I saw that several people wearing special protective suits came up. They held explosion-proof shields and unknown equipment, moving quickly and smoothly. Where are the infected? One of them asked. Over there, by the elevator. Someone replied. Then there was a chaotic sound. I heard the humming of the electric machine, and then a heavy dragging sound. A few minutes later, everything was quiet. My phone vibrated and rang. It was a message from the property manager. The situation on the 17th floor, and the infected were taken away. All residents are asked to stay at home and don't go out. The staff will disinfect the public area. areas. If there is any anomaly, report immediately. I breathed a sigh of relief, and my muscles finally relaxed. But I know this is just the start. If the whole city has a similar situation, the situation will worsen. Walking to the window, I saw in the community several vehicles with special markings, not ordinary police cars or ambulances, but military armored vehicles. Several heavily armed soldiers were setting up checkpoints at the gate. An unprecedented tension pervades the entire community. The city skyline in the distance is still beautiful. High-rise buildings are shining in the twilight. But who knows what's going on behind those lights? It's happening behind them. I picked up my phone and sent a message to my parents. I'm safe. Don't worry. There are some problems, but everything is under control. I will report regularly. Then I turned on my computer and started to record everything that happened. If this is really an unprecedented disaster, every detail and observation may become crucial. In the light of the screen, I started to type on January 20th, 2023. In Building 17, Riverside City, S City, I witnessed the first case. The night falls outside. The city's lights in the darkness, flashing like countless eyes, watching over this world that is quietly changing. In the next 3 days, the whole city fell into a strange dark calm. The official media was still reporting on the flu, but everyone knew that the truth was far more terrifying. The army blocked the main roads in the city and isolation zones around hospitals. Videos of violent infected people on the internet, though they were quickly deleted, were still spreading at an astonishing speed. The members of Building 17 has increased to 94, almost covering all residents. I don't know when it started. Everyone assumed that I was the backbone of the group. Various problems and requests came to me. I thought I heard that the soup. I need to restock. My rice is almost gone. What should I do? My elderly needs antitensive drip. Who knows where I can buy it? The neighbor on the first floor, room 103. Should the residents on our floor move out? Facing these problems, I keep reminding myself, I'm just a programmer, not a doctor, not a police, or a savior. But whenever I see those frightened and helpless messages, I still can't help wanting to do something. On the third morning, I was boiling water in the kitchen to make noodles. My phone vibrated urgently. It was from Gang. Mr. Lee, please come down. There's a problem in the storage room on the 7th floor. What's the problem? I asked vigilantly. Not an infected. He hurriedly said, it's a supply issue. We found that someone has hoarded a lot of things, but now many residents have run out of food. Everyone was a little excited. I hung up the phone. I got dressed. I hesitated. I still stuffed the kitchen knife into my backpack. In these 3 days, there were 2 more infection incidents in the community, although they were quickly controlled. But who knows where the next one will emerge? There are some more warning signs in the elevator. Reduce going out. Wear a breathing mask. Report any abnormality immediate. In the corner, someone had scribbled a sentence with a black marker. Bitten to the 7th floor. I heard a quarrel as soon as I got out of the lift. At the door of the storage room at the end of the hall, more than 10 people gathered. The atmosphere was tense. Gang was relieved to see me. Mr. Lee is here. Among the crowd, a man in his 40s was standing in front of it and was anxiously explaining. Seeing me approaching, he raised his voice. I said, these are all my legal property. I stocked up on Taobao for 3 months. It's my own reserve. Why should I share with you? There were several young people standing. One of them a young man around 25 or 6. The young man was excited. Brother Zhao, this is a special time. Look at what you have stocked, which is enough for 5 families to eat for a month. Several households in our building have run out of food. The man's surname, I recognized him as a resident of V. He shook his head and said it was your own fault. It's none of my business. My wife is pregnant. I have to plan for my family. Neighbors around were talking. Some supported Mr. Zhao, the right to keep the materials, while others insisted on sharing resources. The argument became more intense. I even saw several young people had clenched their fists. Everyone not calmed down. I raised my voice. I walked into the crowd. Let me explain what happened. Gang simply introduced that Mr. Zhao is a Taobao purchasing agent in the public storage room on the 7th floor, stocked up on a lot of daily necessities and food. Someone came to pick up things this morning and saw it by chance, and it spread. Now some families have run out of food and want to buy some from him, but he refused. I turned to Mr. Zhao. Mr. Zhao, can I take a look at what you have stored? He hesitated for a moment and finally opened the door of the storage room. The scene inside made everyone present gasp in surprise. The entire 10 square meter storage room was almost filled. Cartons of mineral water piled to the ceiling, rice, flour, cooking oil, and so on. I'm a purchasing agent, Zhao explained. I was a little hesitant. These are all my stock, and also our family's reserve. I looked around. I saw those anxious faces. I knew it was not good. If not handled properly, it may turn into a violent conflict. And in the current situation, any unrest may bring fatal risks. Mr. Zhao, I try to keep my voice calm. I understand your desire to protect your family, but now it's an extraordinary time. The community is closed and supplies cannot be reached. If this continues, some will starve and the situation will be harder to control. What do you want to do? Mr. Zhao asked vigilantly. You're taking my things. I shook my head. It's not robbery, but exchange. We can establish a fair sharing mechanism. You can keep enough for your family's use. The rest at a reasonable price with neighbors in need, not necessarily money or services or other items. Seeing that Mr. Zhao was still hesitant, I added that if the situation worsens, it will be difficult for one family. We need to unite and help each other. This is not only for everyone, but also for your own safety. A harmonious and stable environment is also the best guarantee for you and your family. Someone in the crowd agreed. What if one day your family needs help? Mr. Zhao's expression began to relax. When his phone rang, after answering the call, his face turned pale. My wife said she had a fever of 38.5. The scene instantly fell silent. In the current situation, what does a fever mean? Everyone knew what it meant. I tried to reassure him. Don't worry, a common cold can also cause fever. Do you have any antipyrex? Mr. Zhao shook his head. I wanted to buy some the day before yesterday, but the community didn't allow it. This is an opportunity. I turned to the crowd. Does anyone have antipyrex? A middle-aged woman raised her hand. I have ibuprofen. I have a thermometer. Another person said, Mr. Zhao, seeing these neighbors who offered help, the vigilance in his eyes gradually he took a deep breath. Okay, I agree to share some supplies. but I need to keep enough for my family. In this way, a potential conflict was resolved. In the next 2 hours, we simply counted the supplies in the storage room and formulated a preliminary distribution plan. Mr. Zhao kept about 30% of the supplies for household use. The rest were registered, and residents in the community can apply for it. It's provided for free, but through barter or provide services in exchange. In the process, I noticed that several neighbors showed special talents. Aunt Joan 801 is a retired accountant, offered to help establish a material ledger. Zhao Jiang from room 1505 is proficient and promised to develop a simple material management system. Several young and strong men volunteered to form a delivery team, were responsible for delivering supplies to families in need. This event became a turning point. That night, I posted a proposal in the mutual aid group. The incident in the storage room on the 7th floor today. In this special period, each of us may face shortages of supplies or other difficulties. I establish a mutual aid and sharing platform, register idle or excess supplies in the book. Those in need can apply, not for free, but through exchange or service. To ensure fairness, someone in the group suddenly sent a message. Look outside. In the hospital. I rushed to the window. From my house's angle, I could see the outline of the hospital in the distance. What was shocking was that the originally bright lights of the hospital suddenly went out. Then, several red flares cut through the night sky, illuminating the area with a rainbow. The gunshots were as dense as popping beans. Several military helicopters hovered in the sky. Huge searchlights swept through and anxiously swept the crowd among buildings. Soon it became chaos. That's an explosion. Did you hear the sound? I saw military vehicles going there. Is the hospital out of control? Could infected people run out? Just as everyone was terrified and guessing, an official message was pushed to everyone's phone. This is a special. The command center informed that at 21:35, the surrounding areas an emergency military exercise and riot control. The relevant areas have been locked down at the highest level to avoid casualties. Please stay at home and close doors and windows. Close doors and windows. Please do not go to watch or approach the cordon. But this only made people more uneasy. Almost at the same time, Zhigang privately messaged me in the group. Something is wrong. My old colleague in the bureau told me. It's not an exercise. The isolation line inside the hospital broke down and a large number of infected people. The SWAT is trying to establish a second line of defense. But it seemed that it couldn't stop. My heart sank as I thought, if the hospital really gets out of hand, it means a large number of infected people could flood in, considering the spread of infection. The consequences would be, I immediately sent a message in the group, regardless of official notices. We must prepare for the worst. From now on, everyone should be vigilant, reduce going out and strengthen window and door protection. Each floor designates a liaison officer to be responsible for information delivery. If you find anything unusual, notify the property and everyone in the group. Property manager Chun Wei followed up. The property has been notified. To strengthen the community, the east gate will also be closed. Only one entrance and exit. There are security guards on if not necessary. Please don't go out if not necessary. Seeing these messages, the panic in the group has eased slightly. I know that the real challenge may have just begun. It's late at night, but I can't sleep lying in bed. The light from my phone screen illuminated the dark room. I keep refreshing various news sources, trying to understand the real situation. The official channels still maintain a restrained tone. It's said that it's effectively controlled, social order is stable, but from various unofficial sources, I pieced together a more terrifying way. Infectors have been reported in many areas of the city. Some communities have fallen. The military is setting up quarantine and safety zones. The most disturbing thing is, infection seems to be evolving. The latest reports show that some infected people have shown higher intelligence and collaborative abilities. They are no longer simply unconscious attacks, but will actively hunt for prey, and even try to use simple tools. At 2 a.m., my phone suddenly rang. It's Lin Yong and Li Wei. Are you asleep? His voice was low, as if afraid of waking up family. Nothing much. Why? I just received an internal notice. There may be a big operation tomorrow. The military plans to establish a large security zone, to concentrate the uninfected. My heart tightened. To evacuate the community. The current plan is to transfer in batches. But he hesitated for a moment. It will be dangerous. According to the latest, the number of infected people in the city has exceeded expectations. Some areas have almost fallen. What should we do then? If possible, I suggest staying in the community. Chuanmoching is relatively remote, and the density of infected after the first transfer is over. We can consider it after the route is safe. It's consistent with my judgment. The community is relatively safe now, as long as we strengthen. There shouldn't be any major problems. Lin Yong, can you inquire about the specific situation? Especially the transfer route and time. This is very important to us. I'll try my best. Recently, communication control is strict. Many messages have been blocked. Hang up the phone. I fell into deep thought. If a large-scale transfer really starts tomorrow, we need to be fully prepared. But before that, there are more urgent things to deal with. The next morning, I gathered the various groups formed yesterday, and the leaders held a short online meeting. I shared possible evacuation plan and emphasized that before that, the importance of strengthening the community's based on the census. We formulate a simple material distribution plan to collect and other households with abundant supplies, donations together, prioritizing the needs of special families. Then came the ordinary families with severe shortages. The whole process is open and transparent, and all exchanges are recorded. At 8 p.m., the first batch of supplies began. I went with Zhigang and Zhao Jiang, pushing a handcart borrowed from the property to deliver supplies door to door at each house. We would briefly introduce the source of the goods and distribution principle, and then asked if they had any other needs or what help they can offer. To my surprise, many families that seem to be short of supplies actually have abundant resources or skills in other aspects. Li at 1002 is a retired electrician, offered to help repair the circuit. Aunt Jiang at 1204 can do Chinese massage and is willing to provide services to neighbors in need. The young couple of 1603 know how to make simple protective equipment, promising to provide each household with a set of masks. In this way, a small community based on mutual aid and exchange, gradually formed. It's not just about material support, but more importantly, it gives everyone a sense of belonging and security. In this world full of unknowns and fears, we are not alone. At 10:30 p.m., the material distribution work finally came to an end. I dragged my tired body back home. I just sat down to rest. My phone suddenly rang with an emergency alarm. It was the urban air defense alarm. Almost at the same time, the group exploded. What's going on? Why did the air defense alarm go off? Is it going to bomb the infected area? Where is the official notice? Who knows the specific information? Just as everyone panicked. When everyone was panicked, appeared on everyone's phone. Emergency notice. From now on, curfew will be imposed in S City from 20 p.m. to 6 a.m. next day. All people and vehicles are prohibited from outdoor activity. Violators will be held. The military will, during the curfew, carry out cleaning operations in some key areas. Citizens are not allowed to go out. Close doors and windows. Lower the noise. In case of emergency, please call the emergency hotline immediately. The roar of helicopters came from the distance. Several strong searchlights swept across the night sky. From my window, I could see several fires rose from the direction of the city center. I could faintly hear gunshots and explosions. The war has begun. It's not a war between people, but between humans and those infected who have lost their humanity. Survival battle between them. I stood by the window, looked at the distant fire with mixed feelings. 3 days ago, I was just a normal programmer busy with year-end bonus and busy ordinary programmers. But now I'm leading the neighbors in a building to fight against an unprecedented disaster. My phone vibrates again. It's a message from He Gang. Li Wei, have you seen the movement outside? I heard the military is going to clear the infected area. I wonder if it will affect us here. I replied that, not for the moment. Our community is relatively safe. The number of infected is limited, but for safety's sake, everyone should be vigilant tonight, especially the local residents. I suggest organizing personnel to take turns and report any abnormalities in time. He Gang quickly replied, I have contacted several young people to take turns on duty in the lobby. If you don't mind, can you please come and guide us? Everyone trusts you. I checked the time. It was already late, but there was no room for refusal in a crisis. I'll go down right now. I got dressed. I checked my kitchen knife and flashlight again. I opened the door and walked to the elevator. The elevator door closed. In the mirror, I saw my tired but determined eyes in the mirror. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but at least today, the residents of our building, we found a way to live together and help each other, which may be the key to survival in the end times. Not only do we need enough supplies and protection, but also mutual trust and support. The elevator reached when the door opened, I saw several neighbors already gathered in the hall. Some simple defense tools were neatly placed in the corner. He Gang came towards me, with a rare smile on his face. Captain Lee, we've been waiting for you. I can't help smiling. Captain Lee, this title that seemed absurd to me 3 days ago now sounds strangely appropriate. Yes, at this moment when the world is turned upside down, each of us has been forced to play a new role. And as a programmer who only cared about code and debugging, I must now learn to play the role of a leader, coordinator, and protector. Okay, let's get started. I looked around to this group of vigilantes who were trailing out. I said the first thing to determine is our purpose of vigilance is not to fight against infected, but early warning and report any abnormalities. Don't be a hero. Safety first. Do you understand? Everyone replied. Understand outside. The sound of the air defense siren gradually faded, was replaced by the faint explosions in the night wind and the roar of helicopters. No matter what the outside world becomes, at least in this small community, we have found a way to survive in the apocalypse. The morning sunlight shines through the window. I woke up from the sofa. I was on duty until 3 o'clock in the morning. When I got home, I didn't even go to bed and fell asleep on the sofa. Outside, the city was shrouded in a strange silence. There was no traffic as before, only the occasional helicopter sound. Breaking the silence, I picked up my phone, the dense message reminders on the screen, which instantly woke me up. A large number of infected people. The military is evacuating the residents of Z. Who knows the situation in Huan community? I heard it has fallen. The most striking was a message from He Gang half an hour ago. Something happened. Later, I quickly got dressed, grabbed my backpack and rushed out. In the elevator, I met Aunt Jo, who was also hurrying downstairs. She looked serious. What happened? I don't know why He Gang asked me to go to Southgate. When I passed by the window, I saw a large number of people gathered at the Southgate, as if they were arguing. Aunt Jo frowned. Everyone's emotions have been very unstable these days. The elevator reached the floor. We hurried towards the Southgate. From a distance, I saw a group of people gathered there. The voices were loud. Prop manager Chumwei stood in the middle, as if trying to mediate something. As we got closer, I saw He Gang was blocking with several other people. Opposite the Southgate, there were a group of strangers, about 20 people, ragged clothes, with tired and desperate faces. What's going on? I walked up to He Gang and asked. The residents of the Mingju Garden said their community had fallen and wanted to come in. He Gang lowered his voice. I suspect some of them are infected. I looked carefully at the crowd opposite. I noticed that several of them looked very strange. Flushed faces, eyes were dull and unsteady. But what's more worrying is that there were elderly and children among them. A young mother was holding a baby, with pleading in her eyes. Manager Chun is explaining, I'm sorry, but for the safety of hundreds of people in the community, we cannot accept outsiders at will. If you have relatives or friends in our community, you can provide proof.
Please help!
A middle-aged man cried out.
Our community is no longer livable. Last the infected broke through the wall. We managed to escape. We are not infected.
Another person shouted.
You can't just stand by and watch us die.
The situation is complex. On the one hand, out of humanity, we can't turn a blind eye to these people who are calling for help. On the other hand, if we accept them rashly, it may bring huge risks to the community. Just as I was hesitating, Lin Yang and his wife Xiaoyu also arrived at the scene. Lin Yang said nothing. He took me and He Gang aside. We can't let them in. I just received news. Mingju Garden was breached last night. The infection rate is over 60%. There must be survivors who have been bitten, but they haven't shown yet. But we can't just refuse them like this. Xiaoyu whispered, her hand unconsciously touching her bulging abdomen. Especially the children and the elderly. If we let them in, the entire community will be in danger. Lin Yang insisted. This is not an ordinary crisis. One infected person can cause the entire building to fall. I looked around. I saw more and more residents gathering around and discussing. Some advocated immediate acceptance out of humanity, while others firmly opposed. The scene was getting chaotic. This is a difficult choice. As a deeply involved community mutual aid, my opinion is particularly important at this moment. Taking a deep breath, I said, I think we can't reject it completely, nor accept them indiscriminately. We should conduct necessary checks and isolation. I turned to my manager Chun. I continued, property. Is there any place that can be used as a action point, such as the underground garage or Manager Chun thought for a moment. The underground garage. To open? The clubhouse is okay. It has independent space and facilities. Then I suggest the following approach. Screen all those who want to enter. Those with obvious symptoms cannot enter. Others are placed in the clubhouse. Forced restraint and observation for at least and observed by the medical team. If there are no problems, we can consider arranging. Lin Yong hesitated. The risk was still high. I know, and I admit it, but we can't just stand by and watch. If we were trapped outside today, we also hope someone can help us. But strict preventive measures must be in place to ensure the safety. After intense discussion, everyone finally accepted this compromise, led by the retired Dr. Zhang from the medical team, to conduct preliminary examinations on them. Those with obvious feet wounds or other abnormal symptoms were unfortunately rejected. The remaining 15 were arranged to the clubhouse and were guarded by volunteers. Throughout the process, the most worrying part was the young mother with her baby. After examination, Dr. Zhang found on her inner arm, found a black and festering tooth mark on her arm. This is irrefutable infection iron.